So, Jesy, thank you so much for coming onto the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Now, a lot of people watching this video are going to instantly recognize who you are, as you're the actor and model for one of the most iconic characters, well, not only in Left 4 Dead, but also just from video games as a whole. How does that feel?
Well, when you put it that way, Sam, it sounds pretty damn awesome. But I have to be honest, I didn't know how iconic it was for many years. I'm not a huge gamer. Anybody that follows me on TikTok or social media has seen me kind of tell some of that story that I'm just kind of an artsy film guy. And it was, sorry about the dog barking, but yeah, I'm just an artsy film guy and love movies. And auditioned for this role in Left 4 Dead 2 and had no idea, had never played Left 4 Dead 1 before. I think the last game I had played before or played in a serious way was probably one of the Halo games, maybe Call of Duty or something, like, I don't know, a long time before.
No, so like classic games then.
Yeah, classics. I mean, if I'm being honest, my favorite games are probably, besides Left 4 Dead 2, is probably, Super Mario or Mario 64. I love those games. But as in general, I was never the huge gamer. Even in my family, my older brother was a big gamer. My little brother was a big gamer. I was more into sports and trying to be in movies. And so for me, it was just a job that I booked. And I didn't think of it like it was this game changer for my life. Just something I booked and then on to the next. And little did I know many years later how iconic and special this game actually is. And so now I feel really honored. In retrospect, I just am like, this is so dope.
So you started posting on TikTok recently about being Ellis in Left 4 Dead and being the model for him. How did you discover Left 4 Dead? Like, how did you discover that it had such a big fan base?
I would meet people over the years, and no one has ever recognized me on the street like, hey, that's Ellis, but people always think that would happen all the time, but it really doesn't. And I think probably running around in Hollywood, there's just so many famous people everywhere. Nobody's like looking for the video game guy there. But over time, I'd meet people and they're gamers. I'm like, oh, what do you play? They're like, oh, I play this, I play that. I'm like, have you ever played Left 4 Dead 2? They're like, yeah, I love that game. And I tell them I'm Ellis, and they would flip out. And so it was always something fun to like tell people if they're real gamers, telling them that I was in Left 4 Dead 2 and Ellis, they would instantly recognize me once I said it. But initially, nobody really recognized me from it or made a big deal out of it. But over the years, people would comment on my social media, just on my Instagram, always being like, Ellis, Ellis, Ellis. And I thought that would slow down after a while, and it just never really did. And that's something that started to tell me just how passionate this fan base is, that they're just not giving up on this game. It's something that they still love, still play. The community is still very active. And that's something that told me I was in something that kind of transcended an era, and that's really cool to be a part of as a creative.
You said you applied for the role. How much did you know about like the game's development while it was being made, or did they just simply take you in? Because I think, did they just take a picture of your face to get it onto the model? Is that how they did it, or how did that go?
Yeah, they just did pictures, and it wasn't a huge amount of work, but it wasn't just like one or two pictures. It was hours of different pictures and creating 3D renderings of me, doing some different poses and hundreds of different facial expressions so the character could talk or react to certain things. It's obviously not my voice. It's Eric Aladdin, who's a tremendous actor and tremendous voice actor and has made the character, so iconic. And so it's cool to I've been a part of it with his voice on it. I think he's amazing. But yeah, it was just a regular audition I went out for. I'd never gotten something for a video game, and I don't think I ever have gotten anything since. Not like booked a job, but even had even an audition for a video game. It's pretty rare. I usually going out for TV shows and movies, you know. And when I got it for the video game, I was like, whoa, this is a video game? Like, what am I doing? Am I doing motion capture? Because everyone imagines, you know, those kind of wetsuit type of outfits with like the white balls for motion capture. Everyone, you know, I'm imagining, oh, they're gonna have me do this or that. I didn't know what it was, but I went to the audition and there's a few other guys there. I went in, met with some people, just talked to them for a little bit. They just kind of wanted to just see your personality and if you kind of had an essence of the character they wanted, I suppose. And I'm a pretty positive, upbeat guy, and I think they just dug me. And I went home and I got a call back to come back a second time, which is generally how it works when you're auditioning. Like, you know, you don't get it after the first one, especially when it's a bigger job, something where they're interviewing and looking at maybe hundreds, if not thousands of people to find the right person for it. And so I got a call back for it and did a lot of research now that it was being a bit more real and I was really being considered. And I looked up the old game and all this stuff. And I started to get really excited about it, talking to some of my friends about it. And they're like, oh my gosh, bro, if you're a part of this game, that'll be great. They're like freaking out. And so it was like, I started to get a sense of like, okay, this is not just like a normal thing. Like this game might be big. And so it was cool to kind of navigate that in that season. But it was kind of, I'm trying to think back, but I'm pretty sure it was like the first job I ever even booked as an actor at all. It was like the first thing I did.
Oh, wow. That's quite a big job for your first one. How many other people applied? Do you know?
I don't know. They don't tell you generally how many people. But I don't doubt they were looking at hundreds of different people. Not at one time, like in a room, like at like a cattle call where everyone's standing there. But I'm sure they were just reviewing tons of people. And as I remember it, it was like a request casting. So certain people, they looked through hundreds of people, certain people that kind of looked like the character that they were hoping to cast. So it was guys that kind of looked like me, which happens pretty often. Like you go out for an audition and you look around and everyone's kind of dressed the same, looking the same. We're all going for the same role. But when I was there's probably a dozen other people at the callback. I think there's just a few of us, but they probably went through hundreds of people trying to find the right one.
And was that in, because I believe you currently reside in California, around the Hollywood area. Was that in California? Was that near of where Valve work in, I think, Chicago?
No, it was actually in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, wow.
I lived there as a kid and went back there when I was around 19 is when I booked this job. And I was with an agency out there that submitted me for it. And I think Valve actually has like Microsoft and Valve is all in the Seattle area. And so we shot everything there and they had a big release party and everything. So I think everything was out of Seattle at the time.
Oh, that would make sense. I think, because I can never remember if it's Seattle or Washington where they're based. But so you said you weren't really much of a gamer. Had you heard of Valve before Left 4 Dead, or was that the first time you'd heard of them when you applied for this?
No, I had never heard of Valve. Of course, I knew of Microsoft because they're this massive company, but I'd never heard of Valve. I think they had made Half-Life.
Yeah, they made
I'm
Half-Life,
correct.
Yeah.
And so I knew a lot of people that played Half-Life. Even my wife has played Half-Life when she was a kid. Like she has much older brothers than her that were big time gamers. And so she was like, yeah, they made Half-Life. I was like, what? You're a gamer? All right, girl. But yeah, I didn't know much about Valve. I honestly was pretty naive about most of it, but Valve is obviously an amazing company, and I think people hit me up every few days asking me if they're going to make a Left 4 Dead 3, and I got no idea. They're not going to tell me, bro. But
so what inspired you to start posting about Left 4 Dead 2 online then after you discovered it? Was it the fan base that you saw accumulating around, especially around Ellis? Because, yeah, genuinely, I think Ellis is probably the most popular character especially with his Keith toys.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, the reason I started posting, I started getting into TikTok just even to market a movie that I wrote and directed a few years ago. It's called One of the Good Ones. I act in it, I wrote and directed it, and it's kind of this little indie film that's nothing spectacular, but I'm very proud of it. And I was just trying to think of unique ways to start marketing it by using TikTok because you hear of people that wrote a novel or something and they just post about it on TikTok a few times and then it goes viral and becomes a bestseller. And I was like, man, maybe I should try this TikTok thing. And I wasn't really big on TikTok or social media and decided I was just going to give it a shot and try posting about my movie. I started posting about my movie, One of the Good Ones, and I don't know that it got any rentals or many views, but people started to find me from Left 4 Dead 2, and they always do over the years on social media or whatever. I always have somebody commenting every so often, Ellis, or like whatever,
Yeah.
And so in the past, I would just joke around and be like, my name's Jesy, but this was at a point where I barely had played the game ever. I played once or twice when it first came out, just because it was kind of cool that I was in it, but never beat multiple campaigns or beat the game. Didn't know anything about his friend Keith. I wasn't the voice actor, so I just did my part, and I was on to the next as an actor, trying to do some movies. But I was posting about One of the Good Ones on TikTok. People started to comment about Left 4 Dead 2, and this guy DM'd me, who I became friends with. His name's Left for Pills. He's a content creator and streamer on TikTok, and we become buddies.
I've heard of
And
him,
he started DMing me and messaging me, and he was like, "Hey, man, I didn't know who he was because it doesn't have his picture. Like his profile picture is Left 4 Dead 2. Like he has, I think, like 50,000 followers on TikTok now. He's does like a really good job with streaming and making Left 4 Dead 2 content. But he started DMing me, and it was like a legit account. It was a lot of followers. I didn't know who it was behind it, but he was like, "Hey, man, people would really appreciate it if you started posting some Ellis stuff." And I was like, "Oh yeah, man, maybe." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to post about my movie, but like whatever. And then he hit me up again, and he's like, "Dude, I think people would really appreciate it. Like the fans, like they would mean a lot to them." And I was like, "All right, like what do you think I should post?" And I was very honest. Like I wasn't trying to act like, I was super knowledgeable about the game or whatever. I was like, "I don't really know much about the game. Like what should I post?" He's like, "Anything, man. Just like connecting with the fans. Like they would really love it." And he like gave me some ideas, and I was like, "Screw it, I'll post." And I started to, not thinking it was gonna get a lot of views or anything. I was just down to try the TikTok thing and just try to post and kind of figure out the app. And it started to get a ton of views, like hundreds of thousands of views per post. And I was like, whoa, like this fan base is serious, man. And I'm kind of a autodidact by nature. I love to kind of take things apart and figure them out. And so for me, with it getting a lot of views, I was like, okay, what's something fun we can do here? I started playing the game more. I went to different game stops trying to find the game and would like film myself as I bought it. And I was like, I wonder if I can find some of the other characters and film videos with them. And it all kind of snowballed. And I started posting a bunch about Left 4 Dead 2 and connecting with fans. I started trying to answer there were sometimes I was spending hours just answering every single DM that came, just because I was like, these people are amazing, and it makes their day when I respond to them. And I'm like, I'm not really Ellis. I'm just a normal guy, but they use my face, and they're like, "Dude, this makes my whole life you responding." And I was like, "Cool. I'm just gonna respond to as many people as I can and try to connect with this community." And I ended up becoming friends with like a bunch. Like I feel obviously we've never met. It's like that gamer friendship where you've never met in person, but you feel like you've gotten to know some people. There's several people that I feel like they're my friends now. Like my buddy Pills, we're friends. I could shout out a few other gamer tags, but people that I feel like we're like homies now. And I go and play online with them, on a Friday night. Just like, "Hey, you guys want to play?" And we'll just like play Left 4 Dead 2 together. I mean, it's probably kind of surreal for them because they're playing with Ellis, like just hanging out. It's like, "Oh, we're just going to play Left 4 Dead 2 with Ellis right now." That's probably a surreal experience. I don't know any other video game characters that are playing with fans on the regular, but for me, it's been so much fun to connect with the audience and just get to know people. And the game is actually super fun, the gameplay and the campaign. So I've been enjoying it.
So you mentioned doing videos with other Left 4 Dead actors and like the face models for other actors. I believe you've done videos with I don't want to say his name wrong, Taimur Ghazi, the guy that modelled Nick. Have you met any of the other actors as well, like for Rochelle and stuff?
I haven't met Rochelle, but I did meet the coach at the rap party. There's a kind of a photo that he and I took together that kind of is infamous within the Left 4 Dead 2 community of me and him together meeting. And that was at the release party for the game, which, that was like 16 years ago. I haven't seen him or talked to him since. Oftentimes when you work with people in the film industry, you get to know them if you do a job together, and then you kind of don't see each other again. You just go about your life, and if you see him again or whatever, it's always cool. But I didn't actually work with any of them when we did the actual shoot. It was all individually shot, each character. And so I didn't meet anybody while working. But since then, I connected with Taimur and we become friends, he's an amazing guy.
And do you have a favourite campaign mission that you like playing? Because you've been streaming it quite a lot lately, so I assume you've had quite a bit of time to experience most of the campaigns.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually I love playing. It's funny because I'm not the biggest gamer, but I've come to really love playing Left 4 Dead 2. And I'll come home just on a Friday night and I'll be like, should I watch a movie or should I just game for a little bit? And I'll just play. But my favorite campaign, I mean, Dark Carnival's super fun. Um, Yeah, probably Dark Carnival right now, but it switches. I don't know if it's like that for you, but every so often, like it's like, oh, this one's kind of my favorite right now, or this one's kind of my favorite right now, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you play on the Xbox, don't you? I believe.
Yeah, I only play on Xbox right now. A lot of people have been bothering me to get a PC so I can play with them.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So I can play with more fans online because it's almost like a completely different community of gamers that do the PC play, and they have all the mods and different things that they do. I've only ever played. I guess I've played on PC once or twice when I did a stream with one of my close friends who's a streamer. His name's Matty Hats. He has like a PC set up and he streams a few nights a week himself, and so we did like a stream together and played on his PC, which was super fun.
Yeah, you mentioned mods. It's quite funny actually because you're in California. When you watch this video, if you watch it, you'll see the B-roll footage in the background. Me and my friend were playing on a map of Disneyland, California.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The modding scene for Left 4 Dead is insane, and yeah, if you get PC, definitely try some of the custom maps because those maps are really hard to make. I've tried before and it's difficult.
It's impressive how much work and expertise and artistry people have put in their gameplay. I'm constantly blown away by the Left 4 Dead 2 community, but the gamer community at large because it's something that I wasn't a part of before. But it's impressive. Like there's so many creative people just doing cool stuff and making cool stuff, and it's fun for me to connect with those people.
I don't know if you knew this as well, but Ellis has actually been like represented in quite a lot of other games. Some notable ones would be games. I don't know if you've heard of these ones, but Dead by Daylight and Payday. There's references to the Ellis character, which must be really cool as well to see him like leading into other games as like crossovers. Have you ever heard of those titles or realized that?
I've heard of them. I feel like people have brought that up to me before, but I don't know what they're talking about because I've never played. I've never seen that. So they just mentioned Ellis, or what is it?
So in Dead by Daylight, there's a character that can dress up in the same clothes as Ellis from Left 4 Dead because they did a crossover like DLC with Valve a very long time ago. And then in Payday, there's like a figurine model of Ellis in one of the levels. That's like an Easter egg, yeah. So it's quite cool, and I think that kind of shows
Cool.
as well, like how much of an impact that because I don't know any other Left 4 Dead character that has as much love as Ellis, or like a bigger fan base as Ellis, personally. Because whenever people mention Left 4 Dead, even people I work with at work will mention Ellis and his buddy Keith and stuff like that when we're talking about it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so it must be cool to like be the face. And is it weird seeing your face in Left 4 Dead as well?
It's not. It's not weird or surreal. But it I think the first time it felt, there's actually a couple of times. One time it felt really surreal was when the game first came out, like 16 years ago. It was actually around this time of year. And I was at my uncle's house, and he was actually struggling with cancer at the time. So he was in bed, and I was just sitting with him. And he was somebody I really looked up to and really loved and meant a lot to me. And we were watching some commercials were just on, and all of a sudden a Left 4 Dead 2 commercial came on. And I was a little nervous because I don't know, like the game is a little bit wild, right? There's like swearing and like zombies and like blood, and I didn't know if my uncle would be like, "What is this trash?" You never know.
Yeah.
And so it starts playing, and I first got a little bit like, "Oh, whoa, is he going to notice it's me?" And he didn't notice, but I pointed like halfway through. I was like, "Hey, that's me," and he's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "No, like that character is me. It's a job. It's one of my acting jobs I booked." And he goes, "What? That's you?" And I was like nervous. I'm like, I hope it's like he doesn't think it's like weird or something, like a bad game but he was like, "My famous nephew." Wow. Kind of vibe. And it was like, so that was like a spectacular moment for me, just with my uncle who I really look up to. And we happened to be watching TV, and there happened to be a commercial that came on. I don't think it was actually like a Super Bowl commercial, but I remember it was around that time, like a few days before or whatever. And I was just, that will forever be a special memory for me. I feel like it was like from the universe or God or something, that we were just there, and it happened to come on at that time. And I happened to be sitting by him because he died, I think a little time after that. And so it was kind of that little special moment where someone like my uncle or my dad are people that you want to make proud in your life. You want them to see you accomplish things and fulfill your dreams, and so that was kind of a special moment. And then even fast forwarding to today, I have a 4-year-old daughter that I post sometimes on my TikTok. I'm a little bit private about my private life, but open to sharing more of it now that I'm getting to know people out there on online. But when I brought the game up in front of her, and it's pretty cool to be her like, "That's daddy," like pointing to the screen. And to me, that is the coolest moment ever.
That must be really cool.
My daughter seeing me up there on the screen and recognizing me, that was, cooler than seeing myself on a billboard or a commercial or anything like that.
That's really cool as well. That's a really cool story, because I think a lot of people that criticize games for being violent, I think they forget that there's that aspect as well, that games don't just bring people together because they play them, but also because people act in these games, people make the soundtrack, people make the games, people do the art, people do the animation. There's so much more that goes into it. It's not just the game that people play. So to have a special moment like that you can share is a really, really cool story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now that you've kind of gotten into gaming a little bit with Left 4 Dead, do you plan on streaming any other games, or are there any other sort of video games you're looking forward to playing that are coming out soon?
I don't think so. I don't really have plans to play any other game ever. I think Left 4 Dead 2 is maybe. I had played actually Halo 1 recently, like the original Legacy one, which to me is the highest. It's nostalgia straight to my vein, and I love that game. I grew up playing that game with my brothers. We would play System Link, where we'd have 2 separate Xboxes. There was no live. I think there was no internet the way there is now. It was like dial-up back then. You couldn't play online, and so what you would do is you'd get 2 actual physical Xboxes, and you'd put them in two different rooms or the same room, and with separate TVs and a cord that linked them together, and you'd play against each other on Halo or a game like that. But my brother and I shared a wall between our rooms, and we got, without telling my parents, we went into the closet because that's where it would our closets were the wall that was touching, and we got a screwdriver and we poked a hole through the wall into his other side of his room, and we'd run the system link cord through the wall through the closet so we couldn't screen look, because obviously now like people do like stream sniping, I think is like the word, where they would watch, like if they're playing against somebody on versus or something like that, they would watch the stream and cheat. Back then, you could just literally like look over at the TV and see where the person was or if they're coming up behind you. And so we devised a way to put it into separate rooms because the cord wasn't very long, but when you poked a hole through the wall, we became the house in the neighborhood that all the kids wanted to come to and play Halo against each other because we could do no screen looking and it was the best. We played until like 3, 4 in the morning. Kids from school would come over. It was just the best and so many memories. And so I did start playing Halo again with my older brother, and I filmed it. I was going to make some content out of it and maybe put on YouTube. Not that I think it's the most interesting thing ever, but I like the space. I'm not even trying to be a famous streamer or anything. No big goals there, but it's just fun. It's fun to play and it's fun to stream and it's fun to connect with the community. And so maybe there's a game that'll come along that I would try, but for the most part, I probably will only play Left 4 Dead 2 or Halo.
Yeah, it's definitely that nostalgia, I think, as well, because I find myself going back to a lot of older games. And I think you mentioning doing the split screen on Halo and not screen peeking and making like the DIY setup so that you couldn't screen peek, that was, to me, probably the golden era of gaming, because that's kind of when I grew up.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm only 23, but I remember
Okay.
like growing up with like the PlayStation 2 and split screen stuff.
Awesome.
So I was still within that sort of era of gaming.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, the golden age of gaming. I think you mentioned it with Halo.
I love the era that I grew up in with gaming. Like when I was a kid, I was young enough to actually play Super Nintendo and play Super Mario. We would play Street Fighter. We would play what were some other like Super Nintendo games? I'm trying to think, but that was super fun. And then Nintendo 64, and we loved GoldenEye, the James Bond game. We played some sports games on there, obviously Mario 64, and then we were a part. Then PlayStation was all the rage, and so we got a PlayStation. We play games like Crash Bandicoot. We'd play games like Tekken. I'm sure many others, but I think after that, like there was like Dreamcast and a few other ones, and like Nintendo Cube or something. But the next thing was Xbox, and I remember when the Xbox first came out, and that Microsoft was making its own gaming system, and it was like this epic moment if you had an Xbox, and I to be able to experience all of those moments kind of and seeing how gaming evolved and how graphics evolved, and whether it was a sport game or a first person shooter game or whatever it might be, it was fun to grow up in that era, because right now it's kind of different. It's all um the gaming systems is in my opinion, it's not as
It's not evolving as much these days
yeah,
as
it's
it
not
did in.
evolving as much. Like the graphics kind of are getting a little bit better here and there, but how much it evolved growing up, how I grew up, it was just so fun to experience, and it was just unbelievable to see the next gaming system come out and what they would do.
I definitely agree with that, because it's kind of insane to see, like, if you go back to like Grand Theft Auto 3 and you see the graphics on that game, that
Hmm.
was 2001, and like the characters were just triangles essentially. But then you skip forward like 8 years, and then you've got this HD like insane detail on characters, and that jump through only 8 years was massive. So I seen one of your TikToks. You cosplayed as Ellis,
Yeah.
Do you plan on doing that again and maybe attending some real life conventions like Comic Con?
Yeah, I would be down to go to Comic Con and meet some people. I've been to Comic Con a few times because I grew up in San Diego where one of the big Comic Cons takes place in California. And I've been a few times. I went um a year ago, not this last, I think a few months ago there was a Comic Con, but I went to one a year ago. But that was to film a little documentary type thing about a friend of mine that is an actor that was the original Flash Gordon. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie. But it's like an old movie that kind of inspired Star Wars and some others. It's like a sci-fi movie, but my friend is the main actor in it, and he goes every year and does a bunch of signings and meets people, and I wanted to go film him, but I've never attended one as Ellis or for anything Left 4 Dead 2. I've always said I'd be down to, but I would love to try to set something up where I could meet a bunch of people that wanted to. But for as cosplaying as Ellis, I don't do it very often. I put together an outfit just to play and stream with the outfit on and do some videos. And I designed my own hat just for fun. But I haven't been to any conventions as Ellis or in cosplay or anything.
I mean, you've got massive amount of followers already on TikTok. I think you're like 100,000. So I think
Hmm.
people would definitely want to meet you and get pictures with the real Ellis.
And maybe I just don't think it's that big of a deal because it's me and I'm just kind of whatever about it. Like, oh yeah, like I'd be down. And then to other people, maybe it would be special for them to actually meet in person. And to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd be down. But I don't really consider myself famous or whatever, and just something that I did.
I think the best part of you cosplaying Ellis is you're the best person. Like you pull it off perfectly, obviously, because you've got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
face for it. So I think
So
that'd be so
people
amazing.
sometimes get funny with me because my hair is currently long, and sometimes I'll have a bit of a beard, and they'll be like, "You need to cut your hair, or you need to shave." They want me to look more like the and at times I'll shave and I'll look more like Ellis or whatever, but they want me to like look like him all the time. But I'm like, man, I gotta live my life, bro. I'm
Yeah,
not like trying to trying to be the character at all times.
and yeah, you said you were about what was it, 19 when you did that job?
Yeah, I think I might have been closer to 21. I don't remember. But it was 16 years ago, and I'm 37, and so I guess I was 21.
So Ellis as well, because Ellis is in I don't know how much you know about Valve games, but they use the same engine called Source,
Mm.
and that this kind of means that people can put. So if a game is made in Source, it can be incorporated into another Valve title, and Valve have an editing program called Source Filmmaker where people can make films with all the models from their games and maps and so on, and that's
That's
just
so
kind of
cool.
yeah, and people have made these like short films and memes, and they incorporate Ellis. Have you ever seen any of these memes online
I've
before?
seen a bunch of them, and I've seen some of them that like make me quite uncomfortable. To be honest, they're just crazy. But then some are really tremendous and funny. And there's some people I've tried to collaborate with in the last like year or so, and I probably dropped the ball on it and should have been more keen on how to do it exactly. But yeah, I've seen some of the stuff people have made, and it's actually very impressive because coming from the film industry and seeing how hard it is. I mean, obviously with AI nowadays, it's a lot easier to make something, but just to animate something and how much work people have put into some of the content they're creating is impressive.
Oh yeah, it's like it's kind of like Ellis has kind of taken this like meme status of his own recently as well. Like it's
Mm.
I see him everywhere in memes. He's always mentioned. It must be just cool to have that kind of that is me moment.
Yeah.
um, or has anyone ever gone up to you and gone, "Hey, you kind of look like that guy from Left 4 Dead"?
No, never. Never has happened in my entire life. Has anyone just come up to me and recognized me for it? But like I mentioned before, if I meet somebody that's a gamer and I tell them, "Hey, have you ever played Left 4 Dead 2?" I see like a twinkle in their eye, and then I tell them I'm Ellis, and they usually flip out, and they're like, you are, oh my god, how did I not see that before?" And, that kind of thing. But you know, I've never had anybody come up to me on the street and recognize me as Ellis. And to be honest, for many years, I didn't know how big of a cult following it had until this last year on TikTok. So now I'm like, wow, it's crazy how many fans there are, and it's kind of interesting that I've never been recognized for this. If it is this popular, and this many people are still riding so hard for it.
Do you play as Ellis when you play Left 4 Dead?
I have never played Left 4 Dead 2 as another character, and I never will.
That's
I
kind of
never
fair.
will. I play Ellis, and that's it. I mean, I love the other characters. I love Nick. I honestly, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think Nick is maybe the most interesting character on the game. Like his character arc and everything, and how he's this gambler that trusts no one, and yet he's stuck with these people, and that have to trust each other to survive. Like he's this guy that's double crossed people, doesn't trust anyone, and now kind of has to be the guy to take care of these people and help lead them and put his life on the line to save them at times. That to me, that's very interesting. Like Ellis helping other people, you think he would do that all the time. He seems like a good dude. But just as a character, Nick is like so interesting.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like I think that's what makes the characters really lovable in Left 4 Dead is the juxtaposition between them all. Because yeah, like for example, Nick is a very serious, I just want to get through this apocalypse, whereas Ellis, he thinks it's some kind of joke.
Yeah,
I mean, I love that, and I love the relationship between the two characters where they're constantly
me
kind
too,
of
man.
bickering between
It's
each
so
other.
funny. And the irony that me and Tamor, the actor that did the face modeling for Nick, now are buddies. It's just so funny to me.
Do you guys go out often then? Do you meet up often?
Oh, I wish. I wish. He lives up north of LA right now, and I'm living down in San Diego, and so we're a bit of a ways apart from each other. But we had some mutual friends, and that's how we connected. I reached out to him through a mutual friend that I noticed. One of my close friends, I noticed Tamor and him followed each other on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, man, this is kind of random," because I had never met Tamor from the game. But I reached out to him through Instagram and was like, "Hey, man, we've never met before. My name is Jesy. We were both on a video game 16 years ago called Left 4 Dead 2. I recently started posting about it on TikTok. People are going crazy. I think it'd be fun if we met up and did a couple videos." And he just like hit me back, dying laughing. And he was like, "Bro, oh my gosh, like, of course, let's do this. It'd be hilarious." And so we met up, did a few videos together, hung out and talked for a while, got to meet his wife and go by their house. And he actually is a really special guy. Like, I mean that sincerely. He's so kind. He's such an artist. He's such a professional too. Like when we were doing videos, the way he was talking about it, he has such a filmmaker mind. And so it would be cool to collaborate with him on something else in the future. Even if, I mean, I would even be down for me and him to do like a short film in the Left 4 Dead universe, just for fun, just to like do something for the fans and something, because I love filmmaking. I love creating things. I just I'm making a TikTok kind of TV show right now just for fun with a buddy of mine. But I would love to do something in the Left 4 Dead universe with Tamor down the road. But I don't know how that would work, but it'd be fun to do.
I think the fans of Left 4 Dead would really love that because, I mean, the fans for Left 4 Dead have been itching for something for quite a long time now.
Totally.
Yeah, to have like a short film of like you and him doing these, killing zombies in this like short film thing, that would be awesome in your like outfits as well. Because I know Tamor has
Totally.
his own little suit, I believe. Does he know Rochelle as well? I've actually never really looked up that. For Rochelle.
I don't think anybody's met. I mean, I can't speak for Rochelle or Coach like Darnell Rice, and I don't know if any of them have met. But as far as I know, nobody's met from the game. And as an actor, I know it's weird to say this to people in the gaming world, but as an actor, like video games aren't, winning an Oscar. And so it's just, it's not like you went and worked on it for 6 or 8 months like you would on a TV show or something, or 2 or 3 months like you would on a movie. You work for like 2 days. And so just in the scheme of things, it's not like this huge thing that you did. It was like, oh yeah, I did that. It would be almost the equivalent of doing a commercial where you work for a couple of days doing a TV commercial and then you're kind of just done and you don't really think about it again. But the irony is this game has just lived on and it's been something that's just continued to connect with people and have a fan base that's so loyal and continues to play. Which is wild because new games come out constantly. Like every few months, there's a new game that comes out that's supposed to be better than the last, but people still seem to love and play Left 4 Dead 2.
It's funny you mention that because I've just gone on the Steam community page for Left 4 Dead 2, and there's according to Steam, 31,000 people in game currently as we're recording this. So
right now, 31,000.
Yeah, so that's still a lot of people.
Wow.
That is insane for such an old game.
Does it say where they're located?
No, it just says in game. I could probably get a map up somewhere, but that is, yes, absolutely insane. And
so insane.
I think, yeah, the special part about Left 4 Dead is that it's just a fun co-op game to play with your friends, which is kind of rare you get them these days because a lot of games nowadays are like you play against each other on different teams, whereas what Left 4 Dead does is it brings all your friends together to go, right, let's get through this.
Yeah, and that's really the best. Like I'm not a big versus guy. I did love doing that system link on Halo and like playing against friends, but it still was one of my favorite things to do is just to play like a campaign mode and just with my brother, and we just play and we just try to beat the game. And I love doing that on Left 4 Dead 2. People ask me to play versus all the time, and I've done it a couple times just because people ask, but I love playing the campaigns and just killing zombies with my friends, you know.
Is there a specific gun you like to use in Left 4 Dead?
Dude, there's a few. And it changes as well. As of right now, my favorite melee is the axe.
Ooh, that's
my niece was using the chainsaw the other night when she was playing for the first time. And the way that she was mowing through hordes, I was like, you know what? I need to use that chainsaw more, bro. Like, I need to get on that. But gun-wise, I love the black sniper that you have like 30 shots on. I forget what it's called. Do you know what that one's called?
The military sniper, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's the military sniper. I like it because I love sniping, but it also shoots fast. When you like with the shotgun or with other sniper rifles where it takes like the reload is like a little, you know, split second or something, and there's people running at you. I love how fast I can snipe and then come out of the scope and still shoot like right out in front of me. And even just running with a melee around and then pulling out the sniper. But I also like the AK-47 a lot. I don't know. What's your favorite?
That's a tough question because normally when I play, I go with I'm more of an assault rifle person when I play, so I
nice.
Go with the AK or the M16. But I'm a big melee fan though. Normally when me and my friends play, it always says like I get the most melee kills because he just doesn't use melees at all. Yeah, I think the AK-47 is probably my favorite. I was gonna say,
what's your favorite melee?
Oh, melee. That's a good question. The katana's quite good.
I love the katana. I love it. Just slicing.
Like Kill Bill, yeah.
Yeah, I love Kill Bill too. It's such a cool movie.
But I must say the baseball bat is a classic zombie staple.
Oh, for sure.
Especially
I've heard some are more effective than others.
Oh, melee weapons, really? Maybe that's true because I think some of them might swing quicker. Like
like some are quicker and they have one of my buddies was telling me his tag is Left 4 Nut. He tells me that different, like if you have the crowbar, for instance, this you can't hit people as far away. You have to wait till you're closer, just like naturally, because it's like a shorter one. And they could be like people could be wrong, but I've heard like the katana because it's sharper than the
baseball bat
the baseball bat or something, that it's just more effective. But then I got another friend of mine uses the pan all the time, and they're just dominating with that pan. You just hear the dong, 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 just nonstop. And that's like so short.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I've got 300 hours on the game and I never even thought that the melee
Wow.
would be any different. So that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
But like, you know more about it
It
than
could
I
be
do.
wrong. It could be some people like just you just feel that it is, and it's all like the actual impact it makes on a zombie is all the same. Maybe who knows?
Yeah. I actually played Left 4 Dead a lot during lockdown as well with one of my friends
Nice.
because we kept joking, oh, this is real life right now, with all the zombies running around.
Totally, totally. Well,
I,
if you ever play on Xbox, we should play together sometime. But you're mainly PC, right?
yeah, I'm PC. I do have an Xbox though, so we could always run something.
Yeah, we should play sometime.
But yeah, I love Left 4 Dead. I think it's one of the best Valve titles that they've done. So it must be really cool to just be able to say to people in the community that, hey, I'm Ellis.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool, and I've realized, and I've come to appreciate it more and more. For as an actor, the saying goes, "You're only as good as your last role, as your last movie." You could do great movies, and then you do one that everyone hates or sucks or whatever. People kind of define you by that. But over time, and I haven't even booked that much. I've done a few movies and a few different things. I hope to do a lot more. It's the thing I love the most is making movies. Even just shooting a short film in my backyard with like my wife and kids. I just love filmmaking. Even if I wasn't like a famous filmmaker, it's what I'm going to do forever. You and I just post stuff on YouTube. I love it. But over time, things that I've been in that I thought was a big deal at the time or something really special, like a movie that went to film festivals or something that got some press or I got interviewed by something. Over time, those things would all fade away. And this Left 4 Dead 2 thing would just always stay significant to people. And it made me realize just in this last year when I've been posting on TikTok and connecting with the community that I was in something that was so significant, like being on a show like Friends or The Office or whatever it might be. That I think The Office right now is one of the top 10 shows that's viewed at all right now. And it hasn't been on TV or hasn't been airing for like 13 years or something or 10 years. But it's still one of the number one watched show to this day, like one of the top 10 shows to this day. And it's very rare as an actor or an artist to be a part of something that has that long of a shelf life with how many movies and shows come out constantly, how many video games come out constantly. And so just in this last year of connecting with people, I've just come to realize I got to be in something so significant and I'm actually so thankful. And in the past, it was just a job. Like even other things that I've been in, just a job, and you're just chasing the next one and trying to write a script, or you're trying to audition for something, and it's always like chasing that carrot. And it's cool to look back and be like, damn, bro, it's kind of awesome. I got to be in something like that means so much to people. It's kind of awesome. I got to be in something that was this significant and is still relevant. And so I really appreciate it more than I ever did, and continually want to connect with those fans, play the game, and even making content that's adjacent to it, whether it's just stuff that I do for fun on TikTok or making my own short film or writing a script about zombies. I don't have the rights to write anything within the Left 4 Dead 2 universe, but it's even inspired me to write a zombie movie, or just something that in a zombie type world, just because I'm starting to like it more and more and connect with people in that world and think of narratives within that. So it's been so much fun, man, truly.
It's interesting as well because I was just looking at the Steam information charts on the most played games on Steam, and currently it's Left 4 Dead 2. So if you think about how big Steam is, I'm assuming you've heard of Steam,
Yeah.
which is the PC platform, the main one for people buying games. Left 4 Dead 2 is still 45th most played of all time, which is insane. Wow. Considering it's 16 years old and people are still playing it more than more recent releases, such as Cyberpunk. That's getting less players than Left 4 Dead still.
Is there what are some other old games that still get a lot of play on there?
Just having a look. So you've got Dead by Daylight. That's 2016. Dota, I think 2013, and that's another Valve game. And yeah, obviously Valve are the people that own Steam, so you've worked for probably the best, literally one of the best gaming companies you can. So to have that under your belt must feel really special as well.
It's so cool, man. It is so cool.
the most played game right now is Counter-Strike, which is another Valve title. So it says a lot about their company. But yeah, no, I think that's all of the questions I had for you. So thank you so much for coming
Awesome.
along and doing this interview with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick all of your social links in the description of the video, like your TikTok, your IMDb, and your YouTube, so people can go and follow those. Do you want to shout out anything else before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, it means the world to me to connect with fans of the game, and I appreciate you having me on to talk with me. I would love to play sometime with you, actually play the game together. It would be super fun. If anybody wants to check out my movie, One of the Good Ones, you can just look up oneofthegoodonesfilm.com and check it out. It's a little indie movie. It's artsy, but it means a lot to me, and I hope to make a lot better and a lot more exciting films. I'm doing a TikTok show right now with a buddy of mine, and it's called Watch the Search, and it's based on two friends that are exploring the paranormal and trying to just filming what they see. And the first thing they go and do is check out a haunted apartment, and we just filmed it in my buddy's apartment just to try to like film something and put it up on TikTok. And it's got a few views and probably only have like 50 or so followers on the account at Watch the Search, but it would be dope for more people to check it out because we're going to make more episodes and hopefully it pops off and we can keep it going.
Awesome. Well, all those will be in the description, so definitely check those out, everyone, because obviously Jesy's put a lot of time aside to do this interview, so to give back, please go and check all these projects out. I've actually watched the trailer for that movie you mentioned, and the cinematography was amazing. By the way.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was looking at your IMDb, so definitely check that out, because I love good cinematography, and that was what I absolutely loved about that trailer, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out myself.
Well, I'm determined one day to make something in the zombie universe. It might not be connected to Left 4 Dead 2 at all, because I don't have the rights to that, obviously. But I'm inspired to make something in that world for everybody.
I think the fans would absolutely love that. So I'm definitely going to keep my hopes up for that to happen one day. But yeah, once again, thank you for coming on, man. And if you guys want to see more interviews like this, and do you have any ideas of people that you want me to interview, make sure you drop a comment down below. And again, check those links in the description to check out all of Jesy's projects and his socials. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.